All right, it is my honor this morning to be able to introduce our governor. One of the best compliments that I can give him is that he is a man who lives out his faith. They're not just words to him. His faith is his North Star. And I know that all of you and so many Kentuckians across the Commonwealth are praying for him every day as he makes tough decisions and leads our state. And I can tell you that we all feel those prayers. I certainly know that he does. Team Kentucky, please help me welcome our governor of the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, Andy Beshear.
Thank you all. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for getting up way too early to be here with us. First, I want to thank Dr. Bobber for leading us off, for being such a great friend to me, and also always reminding us that we are definitely in this together, and the only way we move is forward together. And how about Chanson Calhoun and all these incredible musicians? And I got to return a compliment. How incredible was it to see our Lieutenant Governor in the way that she was willing to share her health journey and story that is hopefully inspiring so many more to take care of themselves. Thank you. Today marks the 56th annual Governor's Prayer Breakfast. Each year, we gather in fellowship to renew our bonds with one another and to celebrate our relationship with God. This year, we're putting a focus on moving forward together and how we can do that with compassion and equity, leaving no one behind. As governor, but also as a dad of 2 kids that your First Lady and I love more than anything in the world, I know we need to lean on prayer and our values if we want to create a state where everyone is welcome and everyone succeeds. As a family, as a community, and as an entire Commonwealth, we have been through so much these last 4 years. Just last week, we marked the 4th anniversary of the first case of COVID in the state. As a part of that remembrance, I also proclaimed a day of compassion in the Commonwealth. And we need to remember the hard-won lessons of this once-in-a-century global pandemic, as well as the waves of natural disasters that took so many lives and created so much damage in our eastern and western Kentucky regions. What we saw was the best of us, the better angels inside of each of us, people willing to go out of their way to help one another, to push out all the division, anything that they may have previously disagreed on, and live out that true faith and love for humanity to help someone out that had been through so much. Especially during tough times, we rely on the stabilizing rock of faith. While these trials are often beyond our understanding, I believe we always see God in the response. And when the challenges were great, I relied on your example and your good work. However hard the day, I always knew I was not alone in our efforts to safeguard our people and secure a bright future for our families. The tornadoes that struck the western region of our state in December 2022 killed 81 Kentuckians, each a child of God, missed by their families. They wiped out or nearly wiped out entire towns, including my dad's hometown of Dawson Springs. The worst destruction was centered in Dawson, Bremen, and in Mayfield, especially a candle factory that collapsed with workers inside. Reverend Stephen Boykin was there that night. The leader of His House Ministries, Reverend Boykin, wasn't just there offering comforting words. He was climbing through the rubble, working with other churchgoers and neighbors to quickly remove debris, holding hands and praying with the trapped woman until she could be freed. He didn't stop that night. He has now built dozens upon dozens upon dozens of new homes for survivors, and he's not going to stop until every Mayfield resident has a safe place to live. Pastor Boyd, can stand up and let us recognize you. Thank you for your great work. And keep going. I knew we had leaders with true servants' hearts like Dr. Bobber. Time and time again, he was there as head of Muslim Americans for Compassion. They were there for our people with PPE during the pandemic, with aid after natural disasters, and with compassion after the tragedy of Old National Bank, which took the lives of 5 people, including one of our closest friends, Tommy Elliott. Dr. Bobber, thank you for your leadership and for being with us today on the second day of the holy Muslim month of Ramadan. Months after the tornadoes, historic flooding hit our eastern Kentucky region, taking the lives of 45 children of God. From the start, we also saw amazing examples of selflessness and heroism. Our National Guard, and I mean this, we actually won the award, first time they've ever given it out. Kentucky has the best National Guard in the entire country. How about it? They and other first responders engaged in over 1,400 rescues, unheard of. That's over 1,400 Kentuckians that are still alive today. I believe the best 48-hour emergency response that this country has ever seen. But there were so many other Kentuckians that were there pitching in to help. One of those was Brad Stevens, pastor at Church of God Worship Center in Clay County. In the days after the rains, Pastor Stevens led a group of volunteers who went door to door and holler to holler. They pushed through the dangerous terrain to check on neighbors, bringing food, water, and other supplies. In the weeks that followed, Pastor Stevens turned his church into a centralized hub for volunteers and supplies, and he has helped lead rebuilding efforts in the region. Pastor Stevens, if you'd please stand up and let us recognize you as well. I know you're here. Rabbi, thank you for being here today. You and your synagogue in Lexington work with charitable organizations to not only help the people of Lexington, but you also started the OZS Backpack Program to help feed local elementary-age kids. Thank you for your work. Leaders with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Kentucky, including Elder Nathan Craig, who last year received a Governor's Service Award for humanitarian works in the aftermath of the Eastern Flood, continue their good work, including cleaning up an almost forgotten cemetery here in Frankfort over the last year, documenting who was in that cemetery, ensuring that they continue to contribute to the communities all across Kentucky. Leaders with the First Christian Church, Disciples of Christ in Madisonville, partnered with the Fuller Center's disaster rebuilders to help rebuild homes hit by tornadoes. In this past winter, we saw South Irvine Christian Church in Estill County holding a clothing drive, giving away 2,000 coats to make sure everyone in that community was able to stay warm. These are just